Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 15 of Talks with V. And I am super excited about tonight's show. I'm a little giddy, so, don't mind me. I'm on the hot seat tonight. Kind of. But we're here talking about human design. And our special guest that we have is Nikki Glaze. She is no stranger to the show. She was with us for another episode of Knowing Your Value. And I just heard raving reviews, about her. And so I was like, we definitely have to have her back on to talk about some of the other things that she does. And one of those things is human design. And so I am excited about her doing my session live for all of you. So I hope that you're ready. Make sure that you, if you haven't already, share the link to your friends, your family, to check out this evening's show and get you a glass of wine, sit back, get your notepad and a pen because you might want to take some notes. And so, without further ado, we'd like to introduce Miss Nikki Glaze. And Miss Nikki Glaze, if you could tell us a little bit about you and your brand and what you do.
Absolutely. So, hello, V, and hello, everyone watching. I am excited for this show as well. No idea what's going to pop up in your reading. So, I love doing them live. I'm Nikki Glaze. I am a clinical mental health counselor in training, a human design reader, a practitioner of numerous alternative lifestyles, whether it's alternate spirituality, alternate sexuality, so on and so forth. My brand really is centered on guiding others to their own authentic liberation. I'll get more into what my brand is about as we talk about human design. Because, of course, when I found human design, I did my own chart. And so
Okay.
I saw some things in my body graph that really lends to my path and my purpose in life.
Oh.
So for now, my brand is really about stepping into that and
Mm.
helping others uncover themselves as well.
Absolutely. Well, we all need a little help. I think a lot of times, especially when you're good at multiple things, it's kind of like a struggle because you're just like, well, I don't want to, spread myself too thin. But I think that, we should act on that more. Because some people are great, at multiple things and they're able to, do them in be successful in all those different areas. And so I love that, because I see a lot of that in you, or you're great in many areas, and it's just like, wow, this is so impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to actually talk about what human design is, because there are some people who've heard of human design, but not many. And
Right.
so, if you could share with us, what is human design?
Sure. And I really love this, V. And again, thank you for having me on your show because I don't see a lot of people of color
Mm,
engage with human design. We just don't
mm,
know about it, right?
right.
So it's also one of my priorities is to just talk about it, whether or not you're interested, whether or not you feel like it fits you, just talking about it more because there are so many different schools of thought that exist in
Yes.
the world. And
Yes.
human design is one of those spiritual schools of thought. It's
Mm,
really a system, right? It's a
mm,
divination tool that uncovers a blueprint or a snapshot of our energetic being
mm.
based on where we were born and what time we were born. So it's pretty much like, what were the planets doing? We know that astronomy is a science, right?
Mhm,
What were
mhm,
the planets doing when they were in their sort of connection on the date and time of our birth? And
mm,
human design combines several different modalities
mm.
and hard sciences to
Okay.
be able to give us that energetic snapshot.
Nice. It's kind of like a technique, right? To just tap into yourself, I
Absolutely.
know I know sometimes it's just like you use one thing, but I think that we have to take advantage of everything that is, out there to really fully understand, yourself and you. I always hear so many times, I'm talking to friends or, strangers, because I talk to everyone. Um, and it's just like a lot of times people feel like, okay, like I'm the only person who is this way. And it's just like, no, you have your tribe, you just have to take those steps to really get to know yourself, like who you truly are. And then it's like we find each other. And
Right.
so, but take advantage of those different, opportunities and, research. So awesome. I love that. And so our next question wanted to talk about how you incorporate human design in your work with your counseling.
Absolutely. And it's just as you said, it's a
Hmm.
technique, right?
Hmm.
Some techniques work, some don't. But what
Hmm.
human design allows us to see or allows us to experiment with, that's the language we use in human design, are those certain idiosyncrasies about ourselves. So I agree. We always think we're the only one. And I never hear
Hmm.
that more than in my counseling sessions, right?
Mm.
Everyone's the only one going through a heartbreak, the only one managing addiction, the only one healing their trauma. That's
Yeah.
everyone, right?
Right.
But we are unique. Even
Hmm.
though we have similarities, what are those unique idiosyncrasies about ourselves that can help us uncover more of our truth and more of our purpose? So, human
Mm.
design, again, it goes very deep. It gives us
Yeah.
information about our medical experiences, about the best way for us to digest food and eat food, about what
Mm.
social environments will help us tap into our productivity or our
Oh,
sense of
wow.
purpose, right?
Uh-huh.
It also talks about sleep habits,
Okay.
how we interact with other people.
I
There are
already feel like I already feel like you're reading my life right now. I'm like, oh Lord.
right? Like I don't even track these things, but human design could maybe give me a starting point to understand why I am the way that I am.
Yes.
But it also helps us realize or uncover how we can interact with others. And that really is the way that I use it in my counseling and in my coaching. How do you understand your energetic being, how
Mm.
you do the things that you do? And when you come into contact with someone else, what is that interaction like? As you said, you talk to everyone. So, what is about you that draws you to certain people and makes
Mm.
certain conversations more productive than other conversations? Well, if you
Right.
had a little bit of secret knowledge beforehand, could you even direct then the way
Hmm.
you interact with people? My
Right.
answer is yes, and that's my
Yeah.
experiment with people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like a lot of times, people are drawn to me, and I ask sometimes, like I'll ask just different people or people who know me well. I'm like, what do you think it is? Because people will just, come up to me and they're just like ready. They're like, I know you know my life, and I'm just like, I got a little something for you. I don't know about your whole life, but I got a little something, for you, whatever it is. I always call them the downloads. I'll get a download, and it might be for a complete stranger. And so just learning that and just being able to like confidently walk in that. Because before I was just like, I don't know what that's about. But, as time has kind of progressed, I realized like, oh, okay, girl, this is a part of your gift. You got to use it and be comfortable in that. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's always interesting to me when people say, I know I'm intuitive or I
Oh
got a
God.
download, I have a message for you, right? But because it's not tangible, it's not one of
Uh-huh.
the five senses,
Mhm.
it's a sixth sense.
Right.
I guess people believe it can't be studied or it can't be explored
Mm.
or we shouldn't pay attention to it. It's just something that comes and goes, it's fleeting. It's like, no,
Mhm.
if that's a gift that you have, you can nurture it and you can strengthen it because it's
Absolutely.
rooted in
Right.
something, right? And
Right.
it's as you're talking to me now, I looked at your body graph ahead of time to prepare myself, and I'm just like, what you saying? I see it in your chart.
Right. No, absolutely. Like I like that. I had once I started to kind of learning a little bit more like about me. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Like how do I do it on purpose? You know what I mean? Like not like
Right,
that I want to control it because I a lot of times I feel like, it's just God using me, right? But I don't want to be completely like hijacked where I'm just like, I don't know, it just comes and then I don't even know what happened, you
right.
know?
Am
So
I aware of my purpose, right?
right, exactly.
I'm not
So
just this unconscious vessel. I'm
right.
aware, I'm putting into practice, and I'm doing it right. Yeah, I love that.
Exactly, exactly. So it's exactly what you said. Like it's good to be able to study it so you can really, I mean, I guess be your best self, in that,
Yeah.
purpose. So Awesome. Okay. And so, what are some of the misconceptions about human design? I already know because when I put reading, people was like, "What? Is that some psychic tarot crystal ball stuff?" I'm like, "No, that's not what it is." So, like, what are some of the misconceptions that you find?
That really is the major misconception. It starts
Mm,
right there. Everyone,
right.
we do say human design readings.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I sent you your chart. That was my bad. But when you look at
No.
your body graph,
Uh huh.
it's very confusing. There are a lot of numbers,
Oh,
symbols, and lines and colors. So we say reading because we're just going through
reading
what
that
those
chart.
symbols
Yeah.
mean. Right. That's what
Gotcha.
that
Gotcha.
means. So the biggest
Gotcha.
misconception is that, it's a religion, or
Mm,
it's one of those spiritual religions that's rooted in intangibles, and nothing tangible, right? So I
mm,
always tell people I am not a tarot reader, I am not a crystal ball gazer, I am not a psychic or a medium. When I do my human design readings, it is experiential, practical. I need you to
mhm.
give me stuff because I'm not
Right.
here diving into your mind and reading your
Right.
deepest, darkest secrets, right? Like, this is an
Right. It's
engagement
the study.
when we go get it. Right.
Right. I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, I'm excited. I'm ready. So, if you are, let's go. We're gonna dive into my human design.
Yes, this is amazing. All right. So you gave me the way that I generated your human design body graph is that you gave me your full date of birth,
Mm-hmm.
your location of birth, and your
Mm-hmm.
time of birth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that most people aren't clear on their time of birth. They're like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what time I was born. But if you can't ask your parents, or if you can't
Mm-hmm.
look up your birth certificate, then that's okay. There
Mm-hmm.
are ways to be able to rectify charts. That's the language that's used. But in
Okay.
human design, if you're unfamiliar with your exact time of birth, then doing the 12-hour increments. So 12
Mm.
p.m. and 12 a.m., generating both charts and seeing which one speaks to you more.
Mm.
Fortunately for you, we didn't have to do that. You
Right.
were
Right.
able to
Right.
provide me your specific time of birth, and I
Right.
generated your chart. So before we dive into
Okay.
it, there's just some language that you'll need to know for this to
Okay.
make sense.
All
Again,
right. I
human
got my
design is
notepad. In my
yes, please break out your notepad. It's definitely a system, it's definitely a science in and of itself. And because it combines several different modalities,
Mhm.
there is a language that goes along with it. Um,
Okay.
and the language that we're going to talk about to begin with is type,
Okay.
strategy, authority. I'll also throw in there profile. Those are the
Okay.
four that we're going to jump into for this session. You'll hear me say
Okay.
more things. I'll define them as I go. But what I
Okay.
want you to latch onto is type, strategy, authority, profile.
Okay.
And most people can understand this because there's the concept of the big three in zodiac and astrology,
Oh.
right?
Hmm.
What's your sun sign, your moon, and your rising, right? The
I
big
never can follow any.
three.
I'd be like, I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so your son is this, your but
Yeah. It took me a while to catch on, and then I was like, okay, the sun, the moon, and the rising means something significant. So let me
mm,
remember what those
mm,
three are. Well, in
okay,
human design, the type, strategy, and authority are very significant.
okay,
There are five archetypes or
okay.
five types, five energetic beings that comprise the world.
Oh,
You happen to be a generator.
oh, I was thinking, I didn't know what I was when I heard you doing the live the last time on the young lady. I was like, I wonder what I am. Maybe I'm a manifester, but generator sounds about right too. So let me write that
Yes.
down. Mhm.
So, generator is your type.
Okay.
Your authority, you happen to be a pure generator.
Oh.
So, for the generator, there are two authorities possible: emotional
Hmm.
or sacral. Because your sacral is defined, we'll talk about that later, you're a
Okay.
pure generator, meaning that the sacral center is your authority.
Hmm.
Authority means how you are designed to make decisions, big,
Okay.
significant decisions in your life. You must follow your authority.
Mm.
Now, sacral might sound familiar. Does that sound familiar to you, the word sacral?
Yes, I've heard it before, like your sacral chakra. I heard
Yes,
it before
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes.
I don't fully understand all of them, but I have heard it. So,
So the human design,
mhm.
one of the many modalities that it takes and combines is the chakra system.
Okay.
The
Okay.
traditional chakra system is seven. There are seven chakras. In
Okay.
human design, it's expanded to nine. So there
Ooh.
are nine chakras in human design, but
Okay.
human design language calls them centers.
Okay.
So you'll
Okay.
hear me say center. Your sacral center is your authority.
Okay. Got it.
Now, the strategy, each archetype in human design has their own unique strategy. For you, the generator, the strategy is wait to respond.
Hmm. Okay. Okay? Can I ask questions?
Of course, you can. Of course.
Okay. So when it's the wait to respond, is it saying that I already do that, or that's what I need to do?
That's what you should do to
Okay.
be in alignment with your highest self and with your purpose. You should wait to respond, which
Okay.
is which is interesting.
I
That
feel
when
like
you're
I do a little
listening,
mix. I do a little mix of that. So.
it's also bringing up like shadow in us, right? Us
Yeah, yeah,
standing in
yeah.
our own way. Totally not saying this is you,
Hmm.
but when you said that you were listening to me do a live reading on Clubhouse for another woman, and you were saying, I wonder if I'm a manifester. I want to do. Mm-mm. Manifestors initiate, manifestors inform, and I feel that
Uh-huh.
from you. You want to do, you want to create,
Yeah,
right? So you
yeah.
think that you should manifest, but as a
Mm,
generator, the way you work best with your energy is to wait before you manifest.
okay.
You I hate using words like should or could.
Mhm,
It
mhm,
would benefit you to wait to respond to something
mm,
and then send all of that productive energy that, yes, let me bring it to the finish line, let me
mhm.
create and make this something, because you
Right.
practice your strategy, which was to wait first.
And that's really interesting because I always think that like there's some things that I'm like out there, right? And don't wait. And then there's some other things, anybody who knows me, they're like, welcome to the life of waiting. Because like I'll move slow, I'm reacting a little slower and stuff like that. Cause I know that if I move fast, it might not be so nice, it's nice as I come across. And so I'm just like, that must I get what you're saying because it's kind of like a built-in thing, like that kind of protects protects us all.
Yep, yep.
Like if I respond too quick, it might pop off and be like, okay, I didn't expect that. So but yeah, I
When I
got
do
you.
my readings, as we get deeper into the reading, again, we're
Hmm.
starting at the very basic for you.
Hmm.
People always tell me, oh, because now they have the language for it, right?
Hmm.
They didn't know human design existed or the language existed. And so
Right.
they start making connections like, oh, that's why I do that, or that's why I feel that way. And it's
Mm.
my personal belief that our energetic beings are always moving towards alignment, right? So we
Hmm.
hear about the law of attraction, right? Or we
Hmm.
hear about, the secret law, or the four agreements, or things like that. And it's
Hmm.
our unconscious, energetic self that is connected to the high, whatever you name the high, whatever you
Right.
call it, that is connected to that higher power. It is always pulling us. Uh oh. V, are you still there? We might be having some technical difficulties. The universe gonna give us this. Mm-mm. The universe is gonna give us this message.
Okay. I was like,
Okay,
what
okay. I
happened?
said, universe gonna give us this message.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I was like, that was interesting. It just went off. So we're back. We're back. We're back. I think
Yeah,
everybody's still
no. So just to finish what I was saying, that
Yes.
our energetic unconscious being is always trying to pull us to alignment. So when you
Okay.
said it's built in, it absolutely is built in.
Mhm.
It's just, have we
Right.
sat enough? Have we meditated enough? Whatever your technique is to tap
Right.
into that voice inside of you, are you
Right.
aware of it and are you listening to it?
Right. Absolutely. To that higher self. It just kind of goes back to, knowing that the answers are within. And a lot of times we are trained, society teaches us to look everywhere else outside of yourself. And a lot of people, they're in a crazy, place, uncomfortable place because they're looking everywhere else. And truly, that answer is within. You just have
Right,
to,
right,
tap into that and trust yourself. That's something I have to, like always work on. It's like, okay, yeah, I think this is the best, route. And then, sometimes I think we second guess ourselves, and sometimes I second guess myself. So yeah, just
yeah.
trusting that because it's
We,
usually right.
yeah.
Okay.
And so the last thing I'm going to give you for your notes is your profile.
Okay.
And the profiles come in a set of numbers. We're not going to dive into what those numbers mean or why it's a set of numbers or all the many combination of numbers there are.
Okay.
But for you specifically, your number is 5/1. So it looks like a fraction. And we
Hmm.
call that 5/1.
Okay.
So now that
That's,
you have this language, if you
that's my
meet
profile.
someone, yes, that's your profile.
Okay. So profiles are a number.
Profiles are numbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or okay. Okay.
Yes. And yes, the numbers have meaning.
Okay. All right.
But now that you have this, you know how to introduce yourself in human design language.
Okay.
So when people are in human design and they're talking to each other about their human design, they
Hmm.
introduce themselves using the profile, authority, and type. So it goes in that order. So you would say, hi, I'm V. I'm a 5/1 sacral generator. Profile, authority, type.
And then type. Okay. 5/1. And then pure generator.
Mhm.
Generator.
You can say
Okay.
pure generator or sacral. If you say pure, people know that sacral is your authority, but
Oh,
sacral generator is fine.
okay. I got it. Okay.
And then if I was introducing myself to you, I would say, hi, V, I'm Nikki. I'm a 5/1 self projected projector.
Okay.
We're not going to go into that because you're not reading me for filth.
I know. I was like, oh, okay, projector. Okay.
Yes, but if you notice, we have a profile in common. We're both
Uh,
5/1s. So
yeah,
I
that's
can't wait to talk to you offline about
oh
that and
yes,
see,
yes.
what else we have in common or if we have similar experiences. So
Okay.
now
Okay.
let's jump in. Let's go back to type.
Okay.
Your type is a generator. So
Okay.
again, there are 5 archetypes in human design. They
Okay.
are the manifester, the generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector.
Okay.
Now,
Listen, don't be all in my business. Like I'm already on the hot spot. I'm giving y'all some of me. I'm vulnerable here today. He's trying to get
right?
everything.
We gonna get into you and how you live your life and your personality and your
Right.
energy. We'll touch on the 5/1, but it could get a little deep.
Okay.
That's
Right.
so
Right.
funny.
Right. Okay.
So out of those five, that was so funny.
I know he knows he knows he.
Force field, shield. Out of those 5 archetypes, you are the generator.
Okay.
Now, generators make up the largest population of people living on Earth.
Oh wow.
Generators make up about 40 to 45% of the world's population, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
it is the majority of the archetypes. And
Okay.
because of this, we have a generator society, at least in Western civilization.
Oh
Here in
wow.
America, we
Okay.
have a generator mindset. And that
Mm.
means be productive,
Mm.
pull yourselves up by your bootstraps,
Mm.
work, 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 work. Don't take any vacation days. Continue producing, right?
Sounds like
If
me.
you ain't do nothing, if you ain't wake up at 6 a.m. and go to bed when the sun set, right?
Right. Like, oh, I could work a little bit more.
Right. You could work a lot. Go
One
ahead
more
and start
hour.
that business and then start another one. But keep your 9 to 5, right?
Right. Just be tired. Okay.
Right.
Exhausted.
The generator archetype, that's not a bad thing. Again,
Okay.
you're a pure generator. Your
Okay.
authority is the sacral center. And the sacral center, what we know from the chakra system, is the center that governs our adrenaline, our ambition,
Mm.
our
Okay.
drive. It is the life force. Normally, when we talk, I keep touching mine, sorry. Normally, when we talk about the sacral center, We're talking about it in terms of our sexuality, our
Oh,
eroticism, right?
okay.
It is life force, it is birthing force, right? That
Right.
sacral center there, and sex produces, generates life. So
Gotcha.
that
Okay.
sacral center and that generator archetype, it's all about bringing things to productivity, bringing things
Yeah.
into fruition, and creating,
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah.
Being productive, which is not a bad thing if it's done in balance and if it's
Yeah.
done
Yeah. I think
healthily,
it's good.
right?
I'm like, yeah.
But one
Okay.
of the reasons,
And that does I it's resonating with me. So
tell me how it's resonating.
that's how I am. Like I'm a doer. Someone had told me one day, they were like, yeah, that's V. Because you're a developer type. If you don't see like, he was talking about my dating, trying to read me. And he was just like, yeah, if you don't see no production, you don't see him moving or building something, you're always thinking like that, development mode, like, okay, you could do this, and then this is gonna work, and then this will make it better, and hit XYZ point, and then that's how I am. I'm always thinking about that. It's like my brain does not shut off. And so he was just like, if you don't see that person is a developer, you're like, not
Right,
feeling it. And I
right.
was like, okay, don't just say it like that.
But
but,
that may
it's,
tap
but
into
it's
your
true.
strategy. Remember, your strategy is to
Yeah.
respond. So
Yeah.
if you're dating and you don't see anything in a partner to respond to, you're like, it's time to get out of Dodge. What am I
Oh
going to
yeah.
do with you? Right?
Uninterested.
You're looking for
I'm like,
something
oh
to
no,
do,
this is not me. Yep, you're right.
which being aware of that also prevents generators from being used or
mm,
misused
yeah.
or abused.
Yeah.
Earlier in the conversation, you said, people are drawn to me. I can talk to anyone. People come to me
Hmm.
because you are like that Energizer bunny, those
Yep.
commercials, the one that
Go.
keeps going and going and going.
Yep.
That energy exudes from you. You're a
Yeah.
generator. You're like a light bulb that's always on. And so
Ah,
people are going to gravitate towards your energy because they don't have it. So they want to
right.
tap into yours and use yours.
Right. That's why I learned boundaries in the last year or so. And so just getting comfortable with those, like, no, we will not use it all up.
Right?
We
Right?
gotta do it in
Or
moderation.
Or now that so when we come into human design and we learn our type, strategy, authority, profile, all of the things, we
Hmm.
call it beginning the human design experiment. I've been
Mm.
in my experiment for a little over a year. I found human design in March of 2021. And it
Oh.
made so much sense to me that I said, I want to apply it. I want to
Mm.
experiment. And it's
Mm.
been working for me.
Mm.
So remember that your strategy is to respond. And you're
Mhm.
aware of that now. So
Mhm.
people are going to be drawn to you because you're a generator. You're giving
Mm.
off this energy that I can do it, right?
Right.
So they're going to come to you, V, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? What about this? What about that? And you're listening to all of these things.
Yeah.
But the ones that make you respond, like, I'm interested in that, that's what you should focus your energy towards.
Okay.
Not just anything that they come to you with, and you're like every Black woman, all right, I'll do it. No.
Right. Right. Right.
That is how
I'm
you
every
practice
woman.
discernment.
Right.
You saw I slid that in there, right?
Oh my gosh. Yep. That's so true. Okay. I got
Yeah,
it. I'm feeling it.
yeah.
All right.
And so, staying with your type, the generator needs to do this. The generator needs to be discerning with where they direct their energy, because
Mm-hmm.
although the type is generator, and
Mm.
although the generator embodies that sacral energy, you're human and you can burn out.
Mm.
I'll
Yeah.
go a little bit deeper. Each archetype has a signature self, which is alignment, highest purpose, and a not self, which is, drained, I'm just mad, I'm in shadow.
Mm.
For the generator, when you're living in alignment, which means you understand your type, you're following your strategy, and you're listening to your authority, you
Mm.
embody your signature self, which is
Mm.
satisfaction.
Mm.
That is the emotion that comes through for generators when they're living in alignment. They feel
Okay.
satisfied.
Okay. Interesting. Hmm.
Uh-oh, what did that
Satisfaction.
word bring up in you, that satisfaction?
Um, I'm just wondering, like, what would be what that would look like, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just
Well, let me
consider.
ask you a question. You have this wonderful platform, right, on the
Hmm.
HBCU Lounge Network, your Talks with V.
Hmm.
Have you sat back from a show that you've done and you were satisfied? Like, I did that. There's nothing
Yeah,
more I could have done.
well, yeah, a couple of them. That's interesting. I'm trying to think like which particular like ones where I can't think about it. I know that there was, maybe a few of them that I was like, oh, this is so good, Um, probably the one, maybe the mastery of self, just because I think there was a lot of really good nuggets that were dropped. And then also knowing your value, just
Mm,
because I'm so passionate about those things, and how important, how it can kind of transform lives. Just those two things, knowing your value and mastering yourself. And so or self mastery. Someone was like, say it the other way. But yeah, because those things I'm passionate about people winning, and
yeah.
so and you can't win if you're like completely in denial about who you are. So to answer your question, those, yeah, a couple of them. Mm-hmm.
I'll flip it now, right?
Mm.
Let's talk about the not self. And so we
Okay.
know
Oh,
that
and
our
boundaries
brain,
too. that
I'm
one,
sorry.
that episode too, the boundaries episode as well. But
I gotta go back and watch these because those sound like great
oh yeah,
shows.
yeah,
Boundaries and self mastery. Yeah.
yeah, yes, yeah.
We know that our brains are wired to
Mm,
seek danger, right? That's what we
mm,
get from our primal,
mm,
our medulla oblongata. It's our survival instinct. Where's the danger? Where's the badness? Where's the negativity? So that we
mm.
can avoid it. So
Right.
most often people are attuned to negativity, right? In the not self for the generator is frustration. So
Mm.
if I ask you times that you were frustrated, that may come up more readily for you than the times when you were satisfied.
Oh
So I'll
yeah.
ask you, think about one moment, one situation where you were frustrated recently.
Okay.
Okay. Now, without giving away too much of your business, what were some of the things that led up to you then feeling frustrated afterwards or throughout?
Um, Probably. I'm just trying to think like how to say it honestly. But probably because one thing about me is I believe I know best. And so, if I feel like, someone is, putting themselves in harm's way, and I want everybody to be okay and safe and happy and la la la, um, I think I was frustrated because it's just like, why ask me? Like why, come to me to rescue you, and then you just don't even, you feel good for a moment, and then you don't use it, you don't apply it.
Let's stop
Yeah.
there. Let's stop there.
Okay.
Because you're saying key things, right?
Yeah.
Why come to me?
Mm-hmm.
Why give me something to respond to your
Right.
strategy, right? So when they came to you with whatever it is they came to you with,
Mm-hmm.
what made you decide to respond to that?
I guess because I'm a generator.
Don't you? Don't you?
And I do. No. So I'm trying to fix it. I'm just like, okay, well, let me fix it. Which it ends up reminding me, like, remember those boundaries, and who you're gonna give that energy to, and you know,
Yeah.
being, discerning of that,
But
as you mentioned.
again, let's
Yeah.
slow down. So now you're getting a peek into how I use this as a
Yeah.
counseling technique and tool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just came into this language 30 minutes ago or 15.
Right.
So let's slow down
Okay.
because you did not yet know. So it's okay if you
Mm-hmm.
responded to something you maybe shouldn't have. That's how
Mm.
we learn. So now
Right.
we're going back to the tape so that you can see what you did there. And then
Mm.
in the future, if you do things differently, how will
Uh-huh.
it pan out? That's the human design experiment.
Mm.
So let's go
Okay.
back. We have
Oh,
you, V,
uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
unknowing generator. Don't know, but you are. That's the
Yeah,
energy
yeah.
you're giving off. What
Okay.
I'm hearing is that someone came to you to fix something,
All
right?
right.
So they
Mm-hmm.
gave you something to respond to. Here's the power of choice and will.
Mm.
Generators don't always respond yes to everything.
Mm.
You can
Okay.
also respond no. And
Yeah.
we'll get to the authority. We haven't gotten
Okay.
there yet. We're on type and strategy. So
Okay.
I'm wondering, before you knew this language, before you had things to experiment with, if you can remember, what in your mind or in your body said, okay, I'll fix this for this person?
Um, I guess something inside, just like, well, because I wanted them to be okay. And so that I think that's kind of the part of not knowing when to say no. Like, I mean, I'm learning, obviously I've gotten better at it. People think I'm mean now. But it's like I have to say no because I'm just like, well,
You have to live in alignment for you.
yeah, like based on the last several thousand times, like you didn't apply it. So it's just like, eh. But in this situation, I hadn't gone through that much. So it was kind of like, okay, I'll, help, I'll help with the situation. And so, and then when it was a situation where they didn't apply it, it was just like, oh.
Frustration. You
Right.
didn't
The
listen to me.
frustration came in. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's perfectly normal
Yeah.
because we have to take into account the society we live in, how we've
Mhm.
been socialized, and how we've been conditioned.
Right.
We live in a society that conditions everyone to be a generator. You know,
Mhm.
I'm from originally from New York, so we get our working papers at 14.
Mm.
By 15, I had a job, right? And I've been
Yeah.
working ever since, right? You get into a job, you give that job 20, 25 years, you
Mm.
retire, but you still need income, right? So just work, 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 do, do, do. Our
Mhm.
society also conditions us to process things mentally and make decisions in our mind.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
mind is not an authority. It's not
Mm.
authority for anyone. It is
Ah.
not where we make decisions. It is where we process information in the mind. That's it.
Mm.
You process the information, it gets sent to your authority. I'm going too deep. Let me stay here. So for you,
Okay.
your authority is pop quiz. What's your authority?
My authority is wait, hold on. Is it satisfaction? No, it's sacral.
Yes,
Yes.
sacral. Where in your
A
body is
pure
the sacral
generator.
center?
Sacral. Okay. And you said what?
Where in your body is the sacral center?
In my stomach area.
Yes, yes. So in
Close
human
to the womb?
design,
Is it close to the womb?
yep, it's down
Okay.
there. In human design, we call it the gut. So that groin, womb,
Mhm.
stomach area down
Okay.
there, that's the
Okay.
sacral.
Okay.
So what does it mean for you to follow your authority? I want you to really quiet yourself and meditate and think on this. Do you experience butterflies or upset stomach or queasiness or uneasiness or strong pull reactions in your gut area?
I do. I do so much. I used to ask that question to like one of my good friends, and I was like, what is that about? It's like for every emotion, I always feel it there. Like, and I'm like, I feel like it's extreme. I'm like, should I see a doctor? But it's just like it's like I don't know, like even like I can see the sweetest thing, and I'll just feel it there, and then I could be sad and I'll feel it there. I could be scared and I'll, feel it there. It's very interesting. And it could be good feelings or not so good feelings, but it all happens there. Like I don't feel it
Yep.
anywhere else. It's just like overwhelming feeling there in my stomach,
Yep.
in my gut.
And I hope you're not just saying this because we're doing a live reading. Like, if
Oh
I'm not
no.
dropping it, tell me I'm not.
No, 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 no. I promise. Listen, I said when I come on here, I'm gonna just put it all out there on the table. So
Okay.
yeah, I was a little nervous.
Don't be, don't be.
30 minutes up
Um,
until the show for sure.
I am glad you have that connection and that awareness
Mm,
already
mm,
because now you have the language to know
okay.
that that's your authority. And
Mm,
that's why it's alive and moving and talking to you. So,
mm,
how do we listen to our authority in human design? Here's the key. It's only for significant life decisions, like big major decisions, right?
Okay.
Who am I going to marry or be with in love? Where do I want to live? Should I move state to state? Should I take this job? Should I quit my job and become an entrepreneur? Whatever those big, significant, major life decisions are,
Mm.
tap into your authority. We
Okay.
also practice and strengthen it by checking in with our authority for the day to day, little decisions. That's how we
Mm.
work that muscle so that when the
Okay.
big decision comes, we already know how to tap in.
Oh, okay.
This is how it all links. You are a generator, so you understand that you have precious life force energy. That
Mm.
center, that chakra is defined for you. Meaning, if you're
Mm.
looking at your body chart, it would be colored in. You have access to that 24/7,
Mm.
365. I used the metaphor. I was talking to a generator recently who unfortunately contracted COVID-19. And I
Mm.
said, let me ask you, while you were in bed rest for COVID-19, did you want to get up and go run errands and buy groceries? And she was like, yes. She was like, I was in bed coughing, but my kid needed to go to school. I had to log
Mm.
into work and do generators have consistent 24/7 access to that life force energy, right? And
Mm.
because it's so precious, be discerning and protect it because people are
Mm.
going to be drawn to you for it, to tap
Right.
into it and to use it. The
Mm.
way that you protect it and be discerning is by following your strategy, which is only lending your precious energy to things that make you want to respond yes. And
Okay.
where does that response come from? Your authority, your sacral.
Mm.
So if I were to come to you and say, V, I promise you, I just rented a 7-bedroom villa in Jamaica. It only costs $1,500. I'm trying to bring 6 of my good girlfriends so we could
Mm.
go. Are you down? And you would say, So Nikki just bought me something to respond to. She gave me something, a trip. I feel in my gut something is fishy. I don't really know this woman. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely never exchanged money with her. We
Mm.
all know how trips and money and vacation go.
Right.
Nikki, thank you, but no.
All
Right?
right. Yeah, I'm
Because
gonna think
your
it
gut,
through. I'm
you
gonna think
felt
it
it
through.
in your gut. Remember, no, you didn't think it through. You
Uh-huh.
listened to your gut.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess that's thinking for me. No, just
Right.
like,
It would be thinking for you. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Right. So your
it's
gut
like,
is gonna tell you
yeah, got it.
whether you feel comfortable or
Mm-hmm.
whether you don't. And
Right. Okay.
it's not always an immediate yes, it's not always an immediate no. Sometimes you need more information.
Mm.
So we can go deeper,
Okay.
but there's another center called the spleen. The splenic center is our center of intuition, our immunity, our fight or flight, all of those things. Your
Mm. Okay.
spleen is not connected to your sacral.
Mm.
So for those generators who it is, because the spleen is fight or flight and
Uh-huh.
intuition, it would give them an automatic yes or no. So there are
Mm.
some generators who can make decisions in the moment. But for
Mm.
those who don't have that connection, they may need more time. So if
Mm.
you're not really sure, you can just say, can you give me more information about that? Help
Mm.
your gut lead you to whether you should say yes or no.
Right.
Because
Okay.
that's really your decision making for you. It's going to be an uh-huh, yeah, or no. And
Yeah.
do you need more information to make that decision or do you know? And if you feel you know, trust it because it is
Mm.
your authority.
Okay. I was like, when you said it's not connected, so is that a bad thing?
No, no,
Okay.
nothing in my world is bad or good.
Okay.
It just is. That's I don't know what to tell you.
I
This is
like
just
that. I
you.
like that.
Like
Yeah.
you put the own value on your own life. This is just what you look like. Now, what you do
Okay.
with it, but
Okay.
inherently, no, nothing is bad or good. It just is. And so, how do you
Gotcha.
work with it? Yeah,
Okay. All righty.
yeah.
So much good stuff. I'm excited. I'm like, to use some of this stuff.
I
Now I
and I
feel like,
love it when people start their experiment, and that's the
yes.
homework I always give. So when you're going to start your experiment, remember your strategy and authority. So for
Okay.
you, literally go through your day tomorrow and see how many people come to you with something. And then
Okay.
practice pausing and saying, okay, this is it. They just came to me with something. How should I respond? Should I respond yes or should I respond no? And take into account what your gut says. We do have a
Mm,
working mind, so you might
mm,
be processing, yes, this is a business partner, or this is a significant other, or this is, excuse me, someone who doesn't mean me harm. Whatever you need to
mhm,
process.
mhm,
I have the time
mhm.
and availability and schedule. Okay, the mind does that. But what did your gut say? Is that
Mm,
something you should say yes to or something you should say no to, and practice it? If you say yes,
mm.
were you satisfied at the end of it or frustrated? If you said no, were you satisfied at saying no or frustrated?
Right. No, and that's so interesting because I know now that I know this, I'm like, there's been times that I've been in those situations where I said yes to something that I didn't want to say yes to, and it was like, like in the inside, and I was just like, I'm just gonna have to suck it up, because I
Now I
already
got to
said
deal with
yes.
it. I'm here.
Right. Like I already said yes, and I'm not going back on my word, you know. And so then there's that. And then there's the times that I said no, and then I was just like, you should say
You
yeah. And
really
so
want to say
yeah,
yeah.
you should have said yeah. And so that's it's funny because I not now I can like go back to those moments and I'm like, that was I this is what I go through. But now I can just start listening to it and just and be happy with it. Because,
Hmm. It's
you
not going to steer
know,
you wrong. It's not.
right, right. And then you'll be satisfied because you did what you actually felt, led to do. People always say that. I didn't feel led to do it.
And
And
you
so
literally are led,
yeah,
right? And
exactly.
this is how you introduce that signature self more often, by practicing, experimenting with it, because
Okay.
then you will get to a point where you're living so much in alignment and
Mhm.
responding yes to the things you should respond yes to, that now you're calling it, you're attracting it, you're manifesting things for you that will
Mm.
benefit you and that you should say yes to. You're going to get,
Mm.
promotion after promotion after promotion, date after date after date. All of a sudden, these things are going to start coming towards you because the universe is like, oh, these in alignment, send her all this
She's
to
ready.
respond to. She's ready, right? And
Okay.
people are like, I don't know how I'm manifesting. I just feel like, it's luck or things are coming to me. And it's like, baby, no, what are you doing differently in your life?
Right. Right.
Where are you saying
Absolutely.
yes to the things you should, right?
Hmm. Okay. I get it. Now I'm going to apply that to some things. And I'm like, I've done my vision boards. I always am able to, they come, pretty quickly. But then there's always one or two things that don't. And it's just like, well, what am I doing that's, preventing, that?
Yeah.
Is it, am I not in agreement with it? Or is there some doubt in this area? Is there some fear, that's preventing, it's, what is it? Counteract. What is it? I don't know what the word is. Hey Nikki, how did you? Oh, how did you arrive at the 5-1 for Miss V?
Yes, so there is literally a mathematical equation system. I
Oh,
put
okay.
in these birth
Good
date,
question.
location of birth, right, time of
Mhm.
birth, and it configured her body design and came out with a profile based on where she was born, when she was born, the timing, all of that.
Hmm.
I also wanted to mention it is free to generate your chart.
Okay,
Anyone
so people
can
go there.
go to the websites. If you Google human design and you want to see what your chart looks like, that is absolutely free. What
Mm.
is not free is knowing what the chart says. Like
Right.
this session, this is
Yes.
what we call readings. There are many,
Right.
many people who do human design readings to help people understand and translate what it is
Right.
they're looking at. And I
Right.
also wanted to mention as well, all of those things that you were just talking about, did I not, call it to me correctly? What am I doing incorrectly? Where the thing that I really wanted, I did not get. Human design also touches on those things. So we're doing a
Okay.
very surface level, basic level live reading for the purposes of your show.
Right.
But human design tells you how you should best manifest. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I am a specific manifester, meaning I need to write down specifically, I want to make $10,000 a month in 2023. My partner is a non specific manifester. So
Okay.
he can just say, I want to be successful, and he's going to be successful. I literally need to map out the ways in which I need
Wow.
to be successful. And
I
again, like I
wonder.
mentioned earlier, it tells you your best method for digestion, how you
Right.
should eat, what you're most drawn to eat, how you should sleep, what environments are
Mm.
ideal for your productivity, where your
Mm.
fears are. You were talking about, these fears and insecurities come up for me. Human design talks about that as well.
And why? Okay. And it breaks down why they come up.
Not necessarily why, uh,
Okay.
but the what.
The
What
what?
will
Okay.
come up for
Okay.
you? Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty
There
good.
are two things that I wanted to talk about before we finish. I know we're coming up on the top of the hour in 10 minutes,
Okay.
but I did want to get into that profile a little bit
Oh, okay. Go
and
ahead.
also talk about what you're here to teach versus what you're here to learn.
Oh, okay.
And I
Oh.
heard that earlier in some of the things that you were talking about, where, I have downloads for people. I have wisdom for them. I have jewels. I want everyone to feel good. I want everyone to achieve their higher self and learn their worth and all these things. So I mentioned that human design expands the seven chakras to nine.
Okay.
I'm not going to list all nine of them. But I will tell you that, like me, out of the nine centers, two are defined for you.
Mm.
That means you
Oh,
have
why?
seven that are undefined.
Okay.
It's not a good or bad thing, B. It just is. I had to learn that. I said, dang, I'm undefined as heck out here in these streets. What does that mean?
That means I'm gonna live to 100 because I
Yes, it does.
got.
So the idea behind definition and undefinition in human design is that our
Mm.
soul, right? So
Okay.
we're getting deep. The body graph, the energetic you, our energetic soul, human design believes was created 88 days before our physical birth, right?
Mm.
So our energetic self was
Mhm.
created 88 days before and then
Mm.
plopped down into our physical self when we
Mm.
were born. So we
Okay.
have our design side, our energetic side, our personality side, which is our sort of
Mm.
physical side. Now, the personality is the side of us that people most see. That's who
Mm.
they come into contact with, that's who they see us as. The
Okay.
design is how we feel we are on the inside, right?
Mm. Okay.
And so the definition is that your soul said for V to achieve her purpose in this lifetime, she
Mhm.
does not need the constant energy of these other seven centers. She doesn't need them.
Mm.
You learned what you were supposed to learn in the past life. Maybe they're going to distract you in this life. Whatever
Mm.
the reason, your soul said, nah, I'm good. I don't need that.
Okay.
But what you do need is your sacral, which is your authority, and then
Mhm.
your G center.
Okay.
So those are the two centers that are defined for you, your
Okay.
sacral and your G center. And
Okay.
because those are defined for you, that is what you're here to teach others. You are here to teach others about the energy of the sacral, that
Mm.
however you want to call it. What are your words? Seduction or femininity or
Mm.
productivity, right? Drive,
Mhm.
ambition,
Okay, I
life
see that body
force,
roll.
right? That's sacral, right? I think the sacral is a sexy center. Like, so just, how do you embody that sacral energy? That's what you're here to exude. That's
Okay.
what you're here to teach. Now,
That's
the G
good.
center,
Embracing that. Yeah.
right? Embracing that because people
Mm.
are going to be drawn to that in you.
Right.
You have wisdom there to
Mm.
impart to them.
Okay.
Same with the G center. The
Mm.
G center governs our self identity,
Okay.
our love, our self love, and love for others, and our direction in life.
Okay.
And so when I hear you say, I created this platform because I want to talk with other people and help them grow direction in life. I
Mhm.
want to talk to Black women so that, they become stronger in their self worth and their value, self love. I
Mhm.
know who I am. I'm a strong woman, identity
Mm. Mhm.
that exudes from you. It is defined
Mm.
for you. You have constant 24/7 access to who you are, how you
Mm.
love, where you're going in life. And
Mm.
that's wisdom that you can impart onto others as well.
Mm. I love that.
We always love that. And then comes the part that's difficult.
Okay.
The part
All
that's
right.
difficult
Give it
is,
to me.
remember, you have seven centers that are undefined.
But I don't need them, right?
Those are the places where you learn.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, that's
Listen,
right. Living to
I
100.
have 7
Still learning.
undefined centers too. It's a struggle. It's a
Oh
struggle.
my gosh. Okay. All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. And so I'll just give you one example. Let's do the solar plexus. The
Okay.
solar plexus center or chakra is the emotional center or chakra. It's
Okay.
undefined for you, it's undefined for me, meaning that the way we engage with that energy, with our emotions, and learn
Hmm.
about them is through other people. We have
Mm.
to come into contact with another person who has that center defined so that
Hmm.
they can teach us. And in
Okay.
that interaction, we take our lessons and we release the rest. We have to
Mm.
release it because we do not have the ability to carry it. That center is
Mm.
undefined. And this is also how I use it in counseling, right?
Wow. Okay.
And I chose the emotional center because I talk, and there's another center as well. I talk with clients about their insecurities, right? And their
Okay.
fears and their traumas, and just how they were told all these really negative things. And we
Hmm.
may do their chart and see that that center is undefined for them. When it's
Mm.
undefined, it's open, it's receptive. And if,
Mm.
again, we don't have boundaries, we're letting any and everything in,
All that other stuff.
even the
Yeah.
negativity,
Okay.
and
Right.
we're holding on to it, and we
Right.
don't have the capacity to hold on to it. We got to
Oh,
take the meat and leave the bones, release the rest.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Oh, that sounds like a task.
And we got to do that with 7 of them.
I know. I'm like,
Seven.
oh no, this is not a good thing.
You ever find yourself in bed eating a tub of ice cream, just crying and crying? Let that go. That's not your emotions.
Yeah,
That's not the energy for you. You
yeah,
don't carry
no,
that energy.
right. No, once I get the sweets, I'm good. It's like
And I talk about
I'm
that
like,
with
I
people
forgot my
too.
problems for now until I get on the scale the next day.
I talk about it, and I use it as a sense of neutrality. So
Hmm.
again, we're talking about the solar
Yeah.
plexus, that emotional center. Manifestation is real. When
Hmm.
I'm alone, right? Meaning I'm by myself, so no other person is around
Hmm.
filling me up with their energy and their energetic design, right? I'm by myself.
Hmm.
I'm pretty much at a state of neutral. I
Hmm.
don't really have feelings. It's not that I don't have feelings. I'm not actively feeling. I'm chilling. I'm
Right.
relaxed. You know,
Right.
and I'll be sitting somewhere, either with people, and they'll say, "Nikki, are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, you're
Mm.
so quiet. Nothing to talk about. Like, right?
Right.
My solar plexus is undefined. I'm not carrying any energy that I should not be. I don't generate that.
Got it.
I engage
And
with emotions when I engage with another person who has that center defined.
mm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm on all the time, you know. And
Hmm.
so, but from the things that I've learned, I'm like, okay, I can see how I can, get balance with that,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
turn off sometimes.
We all have to. What are the
Yeah.
ways in which we need to decompress? Because as soon as we leave our doors, we energetically come into
Hmm.
contact with everyone we see
Feeling
that day,
everything. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
when we come home, it's like, okay,
Right.
let
Right.
me let it go. Let me get back to my equilibrium.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Well, this is so good. I'm excited to hear the other stuff.
Listen, this is just the surface. So in human design, we say it takes 7 years of
Oh my
consistent
gosh.
practice to become aligned. Hmm.
Ooh.
Because there's so much in this chart. We
Uh,
just briefly talked about the centers, right? But what do the
uh-huh.
centers mean for us? What does this
Mm.
undefined or defined or open mean? How do I connect with my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my children, my lovers, right? Deep,
Mhm.
deep.
Mm. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for coming on and just being amazing as you always are. And it wasn't so bad. I was kind of
No,
nervous. Like I told you, I was
no.
kind of nervous. I was like, I don't know, I don't know.
No. And that's why I say, like, people think human design is like a reading where it's like they tell you all this bad, negative stuff. No,
Right,
this is just you. I'm just
right, right.
revealing you to you.
Right, right,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and I think I'm pretty vulnerable, or I've learned to be. And so I was just like, whatever, if it helps, who knows, it might help. I know a couple people were like, oh, this sounds interesting. I might want to do something like that. And so Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you let me come on again.
Yes.
We can go deeper and deeper. I have clients who are returning clients because in the beginning,
Yeah.
literally forget everything else I said.
Mhm.
And your takeaway should be your type, strategy, authority.
Mm.
Just focus on that right now. Understand
Yeah.
that you are a generator. What that means for you, your strategy is to respond. Your
Mm.
authority is respond from your gut. What does your
Mm.
gut tell you?
I
And
like
then
it.
as
I
you become
feel excited.
stronger in that,
Mhm.
you can go deeper into all the other areas because you'll get lost in this like I did and become a human design reader yourself.
Mm. I might, girl.
Okay.
But no, I thank you so much for being here this evening and spending this Sunday evening with us and all the viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes. Thank you so much and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.